Welcome to the 2012 College of Graduate Studies Commencement. I am David Amber, Professor of Biochemistry, and I will be today's MC. I would like to introduce to you the people on the stage. First, Dr. Stephen Jungentaub, Associate Dean of the College of Graduate Studies, Dr. Julie White, Dean of Student Affairs, Dr. David Smith, President of SUNY Upstate Medical University, Dr. Stephen Goodman, Dean of the College of Graduate Studies, Amy Campbell, Assistant Professor in Upstate Center for Bioethics and Humanities, and today's distinguished speaker, Rebecca Oot, our student speaker, and Cezanne Keshvani, President of the Graduate Student Association. We ask that you please mute your cell phones during the ceremony. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Dr. Steve Goodman, Dean of the College of Graduate Studies.
Thank you, Dave, and I want to welcome everybody to the commencement ceremony for the College of Graduate Studies. My comments will be brief and will be focused on three different groups. First, to the parents, family members, and friends who are gathered here today. Your graduate could not have reached this landmark day in their lives without your love, support, and guidance. I share in your joy and appreciate the support that you have given that was critical to your son or daughter, wife or husband, or friend reaching this commencement day. To the faculty, you do a wonderful job in training Upstate graduate students to become our next generation of biomedical researchers. I want to take this opportunity to thank you and tell you that I appreciate and respect the job that you do so very well every year. Now for these graduates, your job shifts today to one of lifelong support of their career development, a subject that we actually discussed at this year's retreat. And to the class of 2012, today is not an ending. It is the beginning of your career as a biomedical researcher. Whether you choose a career in academic research or bioindustry, you have the privilege, and it is a privilege, of searching for better treatments and cures for diseases that affect millions of people suffering at this very moment around the globe. You are entering into a noble and selfless profession. You are becoming part of the fabric of all of the biomedical scientists who have preceded you, those working in laboratories today, and those who will follow. The strength of that fabric is determined by the integrity of every strand. My charge to the class of 2012 for your future research career is that you respect the dignity of your chosen profession by demonstrating absolute integrity in the performance and reporting of your research. The scientific community and the public deserve nothing less. Be bold and creative in your research. Persevere through the rough times and never lose your zeal for the beauty of science that first attracted you to the field. Congratulations, class of 2012. Please remember that you have a home base at Upstate Medical University. You now have a lifelong linkage to this group of faculty as well as members of the administration. Mentorship does not end when you leave the Upstate campus, but is an enduring relationship. I wish you the best in your lives and your careers. Thank you.
Cezanne Keshvani, President of the Graduate Student Association, will announce the awards for the College of Graduate Studies.
Dr. Goodman and Dr. Jungentaub will now present awards for the College of Graduate Studies. The award for professional and public service honors a graduate student who has significantly contributed time and effort to volunteer services and has demonstrated a commitment to the continuance of community programs. Will Joel Wilmore please step forward and receive your award? The next award is the Research Presentation Award, which is presented to a graduate student for the Charles Ross Memorial Student Research Day, and the presentation displaying excellence in presentation style, logic, and feasibility of technique, scientific significance, as well as clarity of purpose. This year, we have co-recipients for this award. Will Violet Geneva please come forward to receive your award? The other co-recipient of the award is Cherry May Ignacio, but since she's unable to attend today's ceremony, I'll be accepting the award later on her behalf. The Written Research Proposal Award is presented to a graduate student whose written research proposal displays excellence in scientific significance, clarity of purpose, logic of execution, as well as feasibility. This year, Yongchang Ji has received this award. Will he please step forward to collect it? Every year, the Graduate Students Association also awards the Outstanding Teacher Award, and this is presented with the students in appreciation of the dedication and excellence in teaching. This year, Dr. Stefan Wilkins in the Department of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology has won this award. Dr. Stefan Wilkins, please, could you come forward? Final award is the John Bernard Henry MD Endowed Scholarship and is presented to a student in the College of Graduate Studies who exemplifies excellence in academic and research achievements. Will Don Cheng Yan please come forward to collect your award? Thank you.
Rebecca Oot has been selected by the students as the Class of 2012 Student Speaker. Rebecca, will you please come forward?
Good afternoon. I want to thank everyone, family, friends, faculty, and staff, for being here and for your continued support of the College of Graduate Studies Class of 2012. I'd also like to thank my classmates very much for selecting me as this year's commencement speaker. It's truly an honor. I just have to say, I was kind of a troublemaker growing up, and so if somebody could have told my mother that I would be the speaker at my commencement for my PhD, she would have slept a lot better at night. Well, this has been a long journey for all of us, and has required dedication, patience, commitment, and an excellent sense of humor. As in any journey, this one too began with a single step, and what brought each of us to Upstate was surely different. For me, the first step began in my sophomore year in college, and I was intending to study pre-veterinary medicine when I began working in a research lab during that summer. I started working in the lab, and immediately my plans had changed. I knew I had found my place and that I loved doing research. It really appealed to me that we were working to understand things about biology that nobody knows, using curiosity, creativity, and good old-fashioned hard work. It really hit me. All the biology books I'd ever read and all the information I'd known as a biological truth, all this knowledge had originated from the hard work of people doing research. Even more exciting was that all of this knowledge came from the combined efforts of people working all over the world and over a huge amount of time. I knew I wanted to contribute to this pool of knowledge and get my PhD and do research. I came to Upstate, and there were so many exciting things happening here, I didn't know which thing to choose. So I was pleased to learn that we would do rotations in different labs to find out where we would fit best. My advisor in college had warned me to be careful in choosing my PhD mentor because we would be working together longer than most marriages last. That was excellent advice. And I, like all of us, have found my place and have had excellent mentorship and an amazing atmosphere. All of the faculty here are experts in their field and have been supportive, helpful, approachable, and kind. They're all super dedicated and have a genuine interest in seeing the students succeed, a property that has helped each of us to learn and to gain confidence. One very valuable thing I've learned here is to be flexible and to adapt to the questions I'm working on. Each biological question has its own roadblocks to our understanding, so it's important to not be afraid to reach out, talk to people, collaborate, and to learn new techniques. I was fortunate that when I was interested in using a highly specialized technique where only 8 of these instruments exist in the country, my mentor sent me to Brookhaven National Laboratories to get the training and make the connections that I would need to complete these experiments. As a result, I've not only gotten some fantastically exciting data, but I've made new connections in the field and acquired new skill sets that will certainly help me in the future. Another thing I've learned is to not take things too personally with my science. We're so invested in our work, troubleshooting, optimizing, reproducing, reproducing, that it can really dictate your emotional and mental state. It's absolutely crucial to find some kind of balance and to keep a positive attitude. In research, the highs are so high and the lows are so low. Recently, I got some data that was so exciting I thought I would have a heart attack. I literally got palpitations. But when things don't work, it's not necessarily our fault. If it was easy, it would have already been done. This experience has been a character-building one, to be sure. The learning curve has been steep, and even though we're finishing graduate school, we'll continue to learn new things every day, because that's what scientists do. Along the way, a lot has changed, and we've learned to be independent scientists while working with others to contribute to an ever-changing pool of scientific knowledge. I feel like I've really had the opportunity to make significant contributions to biology here, and that we've all had a voice in our education. We have all invested a lot of time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears, perhaps literally, and we've all achieved what we set out to do, to learn how to be scientists and to contribute to biological knowledge in the process. I'm confident that we are well prepared for whatever the next step will be for each of us. Congratulations and good luck.
So it is now my pleasure to introduce this year's distinguished speaker, Amy Campbell. Amy is an assistant professor in the Center for Bioethics and Humanities at SUNY Upstate Medical University and at Syracuse University College of Law as a courtesy appointment. She is also associate faculty in the bioethics program at Union Graduate College, Mount Sinai School of Medicine. Ms. Campbell received her law degree from Yale Law School and her master's in bioethics from the University of Pennsylvania. At Upstate, Amy teaches bioethics to our graduate students, as well as medical, nursing, and health profession students, and health policy to an interdisciplinary mix of professional students. I have had the privilege of participating in Amy's courses for the graduate students, and I marvel at her ability to teach this essential subject. Amy's scholarly interests include responsible conduct of research, how to develop health policy from a therapeutic and ethical perspective, how to inform bioethicists' role on a global policy stage, and how better to meet legal training needs in graduate and medical education. Particular areas of interest include child and adolescent health, mental health, and public health. Beyond Upstate, Amy Campbell is a policy advisor to the National Implementation Research Network and on the advisory board of the World Medical and Health Policy Journal. She also helps inform advocacy initiatives of the Society for Adolescent Health and Medicine and is actively engaged in pediatric ethics and law and bioethics endeavors through the American Society for Bioethics and Humanities. It is truly my pleasure to introduce the 2012 Distinguished Speaker, Amy Campbell. Amy, please come forward.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, graduates, and congratulations. Welcome to families and to friends and loved ones joining you today, as well as our proud faculty and administrators here on the stage and in the audience. It is my great honor to join you today and share some thoughts with you graduates as you begin this new exciting journey in your professional lives. I was asked to talk about leading an ethical life in science, and let's just address the elephant in the room right away. You probably wonder why a lawyer is standing before you talking about, to graduating scientists, particularly about ethics. Probably not what you had thought of. I should say that there might have been some Nobel laureates who were asked and they couldn't, join us. And I wondered many a time, why was I asked? Maybe it was because I was the first person to say yes. And now I've learned my lesson. But no, while I may not be a scientist, really it's so great to join you because I have had the great pleasure in working with many of you at various stages of your development. More than this, I have benefited, as have my family and my friends, from what you do. Scientific advancement is not simply a career choice, it's a humanity choice. That is, it's a means to use your intellectual gifts to give back to society in a most profound way by asking the questions and conducting the experiments that lead to developments that improve human lives. This I find awe-inspiring, to break down complex problems via scientific method and do something that has a lasting effect on the world. In fact, it's what you do that actually influenced my own career. I was just another corporate lawyer in Philadelphia doing that, and I joined an ethics committee. And at one point, they all turned to me, the scientists and the clinical, the doctors, and said, "What do you lawyers think about what we're doing?" And I was struck by what they'd asked, and I was actually rendered silent, which is not an easy thing to do with lawyers, and realized I don't think we have any idea about what you can do. And because of that, I left the law firm and went back to get a bioethics degree so I could be trained with and by scientists like yourselves to learn more about what it is you do. And I should mention that my parents then have you to thank, shall we say, for the end of their dream of me buying them a shore home and living off of my big law firm salary. So take that for what it is. So I said, sure, I would love to address you today. And the issue became really, how do I address the ethical life in science that is inspiring, or at least not hectoring or sleep-inducing? And I asked many people for ideas in the past few weeks, including my sister, who I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a recent Time magazine cover with a almost 4-year-old boy nursing from his mother, breastfeeding from his mother. And she said I could work in a weaning theme for you. And I thought, that's interesting, but no, maybe not. And then it hit me. This really is our big kiss-off to you. And seriously, that's not what you're thinking. That sounds awful. But really, when I think of what kind of advice I want to give you or what I would think of, it really is all about KISS. Keep it simple, scientists. Don't worry, I wasn't going to use a different S word at the end there. When I think about how to lead an ethical life in science, this phrase, keep it simple, scientists, seems the best advice I can give you. The world is complex enough. Don't further make trouble for yourself by questioning your commitment to your values within and informed by science. So with this hook in mind, I thought, how do I say a few comments to you, but not ramble on as I, maybe sometimes do? And one of the colleagues that, here, actually among the faculty, had mentioned that scientists stand on the shoulders of giants. And so I thought I could do the same as well and see what other commencement addresses have said and speakers have said. And more often than not, I found top 10 or top 20 lists about what to say or what not to say. And that's when it hit me. David Letterman. I could stand on the shoulders of David Letterman. Some of you may be familiar with his show. It's a late night show, or to the scientists, I should say, it's probably a midday show, given your schedule. He has a top 10 countdown. So today I thought, here are my countdown of the top 10 ways to lead an ethical life in science. Number 10, a little common sense goes a long way. As Oliver Wendell Holmes said, science is a first-rate piece of furniture for a man's upper chamber if he has common sense on the ground floor. Adding to this, following the ethical life is not always easy, but it's good science and hopefully just some darn plain common sense. Number 9, stay humble about where you're started and in awe of what science can do. Ray Bradbury has said, touch a scientist and you touch a child. We call on you to keep that spirit of childhood and to continually ask why and not be satisfied with just because. Think back on the day you arrived here and you sat in on your first orientation sessions, your first classes, your first days in the lab that you chose. You probably started with great help and maybe a little bit of fear, but you took a great leap of faith. In asking colleagues for stories of inspiration in science that I could share with you, one said she keeps alive that feeling of awe by reminding herself often of the sheer audacity of science, that even the smallest new insight can challenge existing paradigms and lead to enduring innovations. Be humble about your place in this and in awe of where a simple question followed by a well-constructed experiment can lead. Be willing to not only look at things in new ways, but humble enough to let what you do be subject to others' questions as well. In this, keep your sense of wonder and remember what you do is really pretty cool. Number 8, treat your life like it's the most important experiment of all. In your life, before you arrived here, you made observations that a career in science would best match your skills, your aptitudes, and your desires, if not, and sorry for your family and friends, if not for your bank accounts. But these led you here, and a hypothesis that Upstate's College of Graduate Studies would give you what you needed to help you along your way in science. That you made it here today says that despite any bumps along the road, your personal experiment to choose and stick with science within these halls proved your hypothesis. You stayed true to a love of discovery, your interest in how things work, and your desire to make things work better. And so now we say, congratulations, scientists, and keep it up. Number 7, never stop learning and never stop asking questions ever. I join Rebecca in this comment. Today is really just a momentary stop sign before you take the next steps in your journey, a time to pause and reflect on what you've learned, to celebrate your successes with mentors, with colleagues, with friends, with family, and to reconnect with the awe that is in science. Your next steps start you on a new path. Some of you will complete postdocs at various academic or government labs across the country. Some will take what you have learned to apply in residency and clinical research. Some will join industry to contribute more to a translational side of research. Some of you will begin teaching. But no matter where your path leads, know this: you are never done learning and experimenting. You are always right to ask questions and challenge accepted orthodoxies. We cannot guarantee it will be easy, but don't let that stop you. Never doubt in yourself and in your values. Keep that courage inside you that brought you here those years ago, that kept you here during the good and maybe not so good days, and in the days that will follow. Number 6, remember a career in science can be achieved in many ways. Science has shown you the power of serendipity, the need to feel comfort with uncertainty, and the recognition that some experiments lead down less than fruitful paths. This is more than okay. It's how you figure things out. One of my colleagues, who I am referred to as my idealistic cynic colleague, says that he's not always sure that this academic-based science career is right for him. And that's okay too. And no, this is not where I encourage you to switch careers and go to law school. But it is okay where I say it's okay if your experiments lead you to question a traditional scientific career. That which you have learned is so powerful in so many ways. Your training and the process in which you are steeped can help in many fields, yes, even law. Like maybe some of you will choose to go into business or journalism, or should I even say it, politics. Heaven knows we could use a little more reason in any of those fields. Just know that there are no disappointments in changing directions. It's simply tweaking an experiment or even trying a new one when it's not working out as planned. The only disappointment would be if you cut corners or were less than your potential in questioning, in testing, and in exploring why things work as they do, and considering if they can work better. Okay, we're midway through. Time for a little practical advice. Number 5, get a house cleaner. One colleague offered this brilliant advice, and it truly can be the difference between using your mind and losing it. Take it from me, don't be so proud that you don't ask for help around the house. It can make all the difference. Okay, now we're getting there. Number 4, let your inner voice be your compass. As you leave here, you begin a new journey where your skills and passions can contribute to discoveries that make lives better and even save lives. During this journey, keep your own internal compass and don't lose that inner voice that called you to this career in the first place. If I can offer any advice from my own personal experiences, it's really to take this part to heart. Recognize and trust in that voice, that gut feeling, so at the end of the day, as you lay down to sleep, you can find some rest in the fact that you stayed true to your values and to science's values. It is by doing this that you are not only a good, but also an ethical scientist and person, for yourself and as a role model to others. In the presence of much noise, the quiet of this calling and of this process is what keeps alive the hope in scientists and in science. External status markers like tenure, a major publication, or a grant award, they're nice cherries on the top of life, but they are not the substance of it. Although I know the hood you'll get put on over you in a little bit is a nice touch. But trust me in this, the ability for that to help you find peace in your life only goes so far. What truly matters is that you do what you love. You do it as best you can. You embrace the ups and the downs, and you let that inner voice be your best guide. Number 3, here's a little tough love part. Don't expect fairness in the world. While you follow your inner compass and do the right thing, you may see others cut corners or act questionably and still get ahead. And sometimes they are not caught, but rather get accolades in return. Yes, life is not always fair. You can just look at examples on Wall Street, in institutions of higher learning, in politics, and realize it's not always a just word. But hang in there. Your honest hard work matters, and if nothing else, living within your ideas and up to your potential will help you get some Z's at night. Trust me on this too, some solid hours of sleep each day really will be vital. Just try not to do it during commencement addresses, or I'll have to call on people, as I've done in class, but no. Number 2, don't let what I just said get you down. Work to increase fairness in the world you inhabit. Your world extends beyond your lab, your university, or your employer, your profession, and your community. Sadly, each day seems to bring with it some new example of misconduct, suggesting there are more breakdowns in the larger system of science than we might wish were true. Consider a recent New York Times article reporting on the increasing number of retractions in esteemed journals like Science and Nature. And yes, some of these things hit even closer to home. Seeing this, it would be easy to complain about how messed up things are, or how bad actors seem to face no consequences, or how external things make it so hard for you to do your job, or how misunderstood your work is by funders or the larger public. But things will not improve, or the way things are depicted will not reflect the reality that you know to be true unless you engage in society. Don't just accept the is, do something to create the what could be. Be willing to speak up and take action. It may not always be a just world, but your example and your actions can have a ripple effect, no matter how small the pond. Nelson Mandela has said education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. To this I add, education and a willingness to speak up and confront unfairness are the most powerful weapons that you can use to change the world. And drum roll, please. Number 1. So what's the number 1 way to lead an ethical life in science? Number 1 is keep it simple, scientists. You knew that was coming back. To me, it's really all about this, sticking with the simplicity in the process. What makes you a good scientist and a good citizen is really what will make you an ethical one. Of course, it will not be easy with all that life throws at you, but neither is science an easy process. It takes courage to be a scientist each day and to submit your ideas not simply to be proven, but perhaps to be even disproven. It takes courage to follow a path where there are not necessarily ultimate answers, but more questions. It takes courage to challenge colleagues who may try to skirt this process. But there is such awe in what you do. Don't jeopardize this by choosing to make easy that which is not, or too complex that which should not be. You are the future of science. Today, you officially join that 99% club of those who put in honest, day in, day out service to, with, and for science. I, for one, am inspired by you, honored to have witnessed your journey thus far, and so hopeful for where you will take science, whatever your role. Last page, so be happy. A comedic writer once noted that a graduation ceremony is an event where the commencement speaker tells many students dressed in identical caps and gowns that individuality is the key to success. Let me keep with this trend, though, and say you are not simply a collective of scientists, although being in community with your colleagues in science is so important. But you are, at the end of the day, an individual who happens to be in science. To quote E.E. Cummings, to be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best night and day to make you everybody else means to fight the hardest battle which any human being can fight, but never stop fighting. I say to you, you're worth the fight. All that you contribute is worth the fight. So in closing, I say, keep it simple, scientists. I join those on the stage and in the audience in wishing you great luck in your careers and in your life experiments, no matter where they lead. Consider this our kiss-off to you. Edmund Hillary once noted that nobody climbs mountains for scientific reasons. Science is used to raise money for the expeditions, but you really climb for the hell of it. So congratulations, grads. Go climb new mountains for the hell of it, and enjoy the journey ahead of you, one rock up at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. That was really great. The degrees in the College of Graduate Studies will now be conferred by President David Smith. Dr. Stephen Goodman will present the recipients of the degree Master of Science.
President Smith, as Dean of the College of Graduate Studies, I have the honor to present the recipients of the degree Master of Science. They have satisfied the requirements established by the faculty and have been recommended by the faculty for the receipt of this degree.
Thank you, Dr. Goodman. Will the candidates for the Master of Science degree in the College of Graduate Studies please rise? You can applaud. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of the State University of New York, upon completion of all requirements, I confer upon you the degree Master of Science with all rights, privileges, and honors therein. Please come forward when requested for your diploma. Congratulations. And you may move your tassel to the left.
Christina Marie DeDeo. Christina is being hooded by her thesis advisor, Dr. Mary Lou Villano. Christina's thesis is entitled, Development of Rodent Model of Subarachnoid Hemorrhage and Protective Strategies. Kelly Ledford. Kelly is being hooded by the Associate Dean of the College of Graduate Studies, Dr. Stephen Youngentop. Kelly's thesis is entitled, Investigating the Transcriptional Regulation of 6-6 in the Developing Retina of Xenopus laevis. Danielle Elizabeth Sagor. Danielle is being hooded by her thesis advisor, Dr. Stephen Jungentab. Danielle's thesis is entitled Lactational Ethanol Exposure Alters the Adolescent Behavioral and Neurophysiologic Olfactory Response to Ethanol Odor. Georgi Yagi Azorov. Georgi is being hooded by his thesis advisor, Dr. Eric Olson. Georgi's thesis is entitled Transplantation of Cryopreserved Cortical Precursors and Neurons. The recipients of the Doctor of Philosophy will be presented by Dr. Stephen Goodman.
President Smith, as Dean of the College of Graduate Studies, I have the honor to present the recipients of the degree Doctor of Philosophy. They have satisfied the requirements established by the faculty and have been recommended by the faculty for the receipt of this degree.
Thank you, Dr. Goodman. Will the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy degree in the College of Graduate Studies please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the State University of New York, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all rights, privileges therein. Congratulations. Please come forward when your name is called. And you may move your tassel to the left.
Dr. Heather Dabari. Heather is being hooded by her dissertation advisor, Dr. Edward Berry. Heather's dissertation is entitled Biochemical and Structural Studies of the Yeast BC1 Complex. Heather Ishmael Diab. Heba is being hooded by her dissertation advisor, Dr. Patricia Kane. Heather's dissertation is entitled The Yeast Vacuolar H1 ATPase is Crucial for Iron and Oxidative Defense Mechanisms. Dr. Miriam Donahue. Miriam is being hooded by her dissertation advisor, Dr. Blair Calancy. Miriam's dissertation is entitled Intraoperative Neuromonitoring for Thoracic Spine Instrumentation Using Pedicle Screws. Dr. Kristen A. Gimenko. Kristen is being hooded by her dissertation advisor, Dr. Rick Matthews. Kristen's dissertation is entitled Unraveling the Peroneuronal Net, Dissecting the Molecular Composition and Structure of a Specialized Substructure of the Neuronal Extracellular Matrix. Dr. Mehdi N-Jafi. Mehdi is being hooded by his dissertation advisor, Dr. Peter Calvert. Mehdi's dissertation is entitled Protein Segregation into the Ciliary Compartment of Xenopus rod Photoreceptors. Dr. Rebecca Oot. Rebecca is being hooded by her dissertation advisor, Dr. Stefan Wilkins. Rebecca's dissertation is entitled Structural Characterization of Interactions in the V-ATPase Implications for Enzyme Regulation by Reversible Dissociation. Dr. Janine Pignatelli. Janine is being hooded by her dissertation advisor, Dr. Christopher Turner. Janine's dissertation is entitled The Role of Focal Adhesion Proteins HIC5 and Actopaxin in Extracellular Matrix Degradation, Invadipodia Formation, and Invasion. Dr. Kelly Marilyn Wallace. Kelly is being hooded by her dissertation advisor, Dr. Wendy Cates. Kelly's dissertation is entitled Cingulate Structure and Function in Adolescents with Velocardiofacial Syndrome, an Anatomical and Functional MRI Study. Dr. Joel Wilmore. Joel is being hooded by his dissertation advisor, Dr. Rosemary Roxford. Joel's dissertation is entitled The Effects of Plasmodium chabauti on B-cell Development, Activation, and Function. Dr. Benjamin Jacob Wolf. Benjamin is being hooded by his dissertation advisor, Dr. Michael Priziata. Benjamin's thesis is entitled Deciphering the High Efficiency MHC Class 1 Processing Pathway utilized for the presentation of Listeria monocytogenes-derived proteins. Dr. Chin Chu. Chin is being hooded by her dissertation advisor, Dr. Richard Veenstra. Chin's dissertation is entitled Cardiac Gap Junction CX43 Regulation by Calcium, Calmodulin, and Histone deacetylase Inhibition. Dr. Dong Chin Yen. John Ching is being hooded by her dissertation advisor, Dr. Golam Mohi. Dong Ching's dissertation is entitled Molecular Mechanism of JAK2 V617F Induced Myoproliferative Neoplasms. We would like to request that all graduates please stand for one last round of applause. It is now my honor to invite Dr. David Smith, President of SUNY Upstate Medical University, to provide his congratulatory remarks.
Well, again, I want to join the family members. What I would like to ask of the graduates, though, is that we recognize the family members, friends, colleagues, husbands, wives, children, anyone else that's come to support you all these years. Could you please rise and give them a round of applause? Well, today's Graduate Studies commencement represents one of the most exciting moments in your life and certainly in our day as well. I had some prepared remarks, but I thought what I would do is deviate from those for a moment, because indeed you have joined a very prominent world and one where you will have great influence, not only in the area of science and new knowledge, but even beyond that, as respected individuals within society and the greater needs that we all have. Indeed, research is a primary tenet of our mission. It is what differentiates us in many ways as being a university, not a medical center or an academic medical center, but as a university, the search for new knowledge, its application, whether it be in the basic sciences or, of course, in the area of applied or transitional research, and the difference it will make in all of our lives is phenomenal. In addition, however, each of you will move into society now with a title of doctor. You will have the opportunity afforded you to make an impact not only in the laboratory and the classroom and beyond, but also as advocates in the area of furthering the potential for this great country to move forward in research. The challenge we are facing right now, as I know all of you are well aware, is that with the declining support for NIH, National Science Foundation, and others, it is incumbent upon all of us to be advocates that this country not lose its preeminence in the area of research. And so we will be looking to you, like our faculty members and others, for us to further the opportunity that you provide to each and every one of us, and all of those of us who will be patients one day and rely on the expertise that you're bringing to the bench or indeed to the literature. It is indeed a heavy burden, but one of the final responsibilities we all have in this role is to be advocates. And you will be primarily effective in this area as advocates, whether or not it's before learned boards, societies, or Congress, because you will sit before these bodies with an ability and a concept that no one else can bring, and certainly a credibility. So indeed, I believe, Dr. Goodman, research is in good hands in all fronts because of this graduating class. in its ability not only to conduct world-class research because of the mentors who have brought you to this point, and you who will bring yourself beyond, because you have the ability, of course, to continue to advocate for the need for the search for new knowledge and the application of that new knowledge for human beings. So congratulations.
This concludes our ceremony. We'd like to thank the John Spillett Jazz Duo for providing today's music. Please join us for a reception immediately following the ceremony. A photographer is available to take photos of graduates with their families and faculty. Please remain seated until the end of the recessional.